Hi guys, and welcome back to the APC Pundits podcast. As you can see, just me today. So we'll be having a shorter show because, boy, I can't talk that long by myself. So let's kick it off. First game, we'll go with the Liverpool game. Liverpool versus Brentford, 4-1 victory for Liverpool. Overall game, very good result for us, but tinged with a lot of disappointment because of the injuries that we picked up and potentially picked up, because not all the injuries have been confirmed. So to start it off, Brentford actually started off really well. First 20, 25 minutes, they had us pegged in. They looked really sharp, a lot sharper than we did. It looked, as I said last week, I was worried about this game because we've always done poorly away to Brentford. And last week was probably one of the worst performances on the club ever. Not last week, last season, sorry. So yeah, to get through this game 4-1 was great. As soon as we scored our first goal, fantastic goal from Nunes, which has had some praise and had some criticism, which has been fair in some cases, unfair in other cases. But fantastic goal from Nunes. The header that Jota put through to him was a great bit of football play. And then Nunes chipping the goalkeeper. Some people, like Michael Owen, have said he probably would prefer that 0-0 to see him just slot it in. And I can kind of see his point in that. But regardless, I'm happy with the goal. Fantastic goal. And it gives Nunes a bit more confidence. Not that I think he probably lacks it in that regard anyway. But yeah, good start for us. And from then on in, it seemed like it was all us. Seemed to get together more pace, get more energy in the game. It was good to see Nunes and Jota combine a few more times. Sad things that came through were obviously with Jones' ankle injury just before the goal, and then obviously the worst news of the whole game was the Jota injury, which looks like it's probably going to be out for 2 months. Which, as a lot of you know who follow us, I believe is probably our second most important player behind Salah, because he just seems to get goals out of nothing. And whenever we need something, he seems to provide it, or even assist at that point of the season. So really disappointed about that, and hopefully his recovery is quicker than it seems. But obviously he's going to miss a massive game this weekend that we've got with the Carabao Cup final, and obviously the Man City game that's coming up as well. So we then moved on half-time. Come out for half-time, and there's no Nunes. And we're thinking, oh my goodness, could it get any worse? Klopp has obviously said that he felt something, and with the new rules where you can only make 3 specific changes at different times, he decided to use the half-time to change him, which would allow us to make another sub later on in the game in case Nunes did feel something again later on. And it makes sense. If you feel something, don't force it. I thought it was strange tactically at first, because a lot of people said it's a tactical decision. I thought it must have been an injury because we're only 1-0 up, and it's not somewhere where we've done well. So, but as soon as we came out of it, really good start to the second half. Salah showing that he didn't have much ring rust. He did have a couple of shots earlier, but not much, with a nice little pass through to McAllister. And it was actually good to see McAllister and Endo playing, because Endo, I feel, is underrated. Is he world class? No. Is he as good as Fabinho at his height? No. But I think he's a sturdy centre midfielder, defensive midfielder, and has been doing a great job for us since beginning of December. And coming back in, he's allowed us to free McAllister to play the role that we signed him for. And he said it himself, he likes to be a bit more free and to get into the box and score, which is what he did. So really pleased with that. Really pleased with Endo. And then we go on to a third goal, very poorly defended by Brentford. Salah outmuscles the defenders, outpaces the defenders, and slots it into the far corner. Then we get a bit of shakiness coming through again. Probably a bit of Robert's fault, but great save. I'd say again, great save from Kelleher to deny the first shot. But with Tony there waiting for a tap in, he passed it in. But credit to us, credit to the guys, our forwards decided that we needed to really put this game to bed. And you got a nice fourth goal from Gakpo. Started it down the goalkeeper's right from his left foot, and it was just a really good performance. I looked at it and I thought to myself, at the end of it, could we have asked for anything more performance-wise? Probably not. It would have been nice to get a clean sheet, but I can live with that. Expected goals-wise, 2.43. So it looks like we're always going to win that, and we're taking our chances. Listen, our strikers are always on point. We lose Jota, Salah comes back, Salah gets a goal and assist. So hopefully he's dusted off. He had a couple of poor chances at the beginning. So hopefully he's dusted that off. And when it comes to the midweek game and the cup final game, he's on point. So really happy with it. Performance-wise, happy with Kelleher. Van Dijk was calm, his normal calm self. Konate, good to have him back. Conor Bradley, really good to have him back. Wasn't quite sure whether he was going to play, for us, to be honest. Because I thought, because of the height, because of our performances previously against Brentford, we'll probably go with Joe Gomez. But it was good to see Bradley back and performing as well. He's got a bright future, I think, for us, and it's probably going to make Klopp think where to play Trent when he comes back. But it's very early, and there'll be ups and downs with Conor Bradley, but really happy with how he started. Robbo's still finding his feet. Didn't have a bad game, but it's still not quite up to his standards. But let's be honest, he's been out for quite a few months, so that's not a big problem. And Diaz never stops trying, always works hard. So it's a good performance from Diaz all round, and a good performance from us. But like I said, tinged with a bit of sadness because obviously we've lost 3 key players going forward, and 2 of them will be long term. Jota, Nunes, we're not quite sure about. So I was happy with that, and it was timely because Arsenal continued where they left off. I think since the winter break, they scored like 21 goals, so and hardly conceded any. So Burnley put to the sword completely. First goal scored by Odegaard, clinical strike into the bottom corner, and they set the ball rolling. I mean, had a little quiet spell for Bukayo Saka. He looked really tired before the break that they had in Dubai. I wonder what they did in Dubai because they've come back really, really good from that breakaway. And he gets himself 2 goals. And Trossard gets himself a goal. And Kai Havertz had a really good game. But to be honest, there's been a lot of criticism passed his way through this season. And he's taken it on his shoulders and he just tried to play better each game. And it was a good performance from him. And let's be honest, a fantastic performance from Arsenal. Burnley haven't been battered like 5-0 that many times this season. They've lost a lot, but they've been in games. But today they were completely over the weekend they were completely outclassed by Arsenal, and Arsenal are really showing that maybe they've learned from last season and they're peaking at the right time. Still a long way to go, but they're getting all there. Apart from Jesus, the key players seem to be firing. A lot of talk about their strikers and their defenders. Their strikers not getting enough goals, but the defenders are getting goals for them from set pieces. And as I said last week, that set pieces is their main strike weapon, with 16, 17 goals from set pieces, more than anyone in the league. So credit to Arsenal, they stepped up again and have settled themselves into second place. Man City came up next. They played against Chelsea. Chelsea put in a really good showing, if I'm completely honest. For me, the wrong time, considering we've got them on the weekend, the Carabao Cup final. It would have been good for them to really have held a beating. But to their credit, they scored first. They counter-attacked well. They let Man City have a lot of the possession. I think they only had like 29% possession. But they defended very well. I'm not sure if it was because Thiago Silva wasn't there, so the players decided they've got to front up a bit more. You saw throughout the game, every time they made a block, they made a tackle, they'll celebrate like they scored goals. So Disasi had a really stand-up game. Really, really good game. And it just bodes well for them in the future. Still a few issues with their attack. Nicholas Jackson missing a great opportunity to score early on when it was set through by Gusto. Pass probably wasn't the greatest, but I think with those ones, you take it first time. If you're confident, you take it first time, aim for the corners and you score. And it's not too dissimilar from how Sterling's goal came across. similarly, but this time it was Jackson putting it across, and Sterling ducking inside Kyle Walker, who overshot his run and left himself unbalanced, and Sterling slotted it across the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. Great finish. But as I said last week, I was talking about my daughter, and when Everton weren't winning, so when Man City weren't winning, you have to wait until the 95th minute, 90th minute, however many minutes they had on, because Man City always seem to get a goal sooner or later. They never count it out. If it's 1-0 or 2-0 down, even the 90th minute, you're never too sure. And the man of, not even the moment, the man of the last year, because there's a record that Rodri has, the goal scorer. He hasn't lost a game in any competition for Man City in a year, which is kind of crazy. And a lot of people have said that De Bruyne and Haaland are their biggest assets, the key players. You could argue Rodri is probably the most important player they've got. When he hasn't played this season, they've lost every single game. So, key for them. Great result for Liverpool and for Arsenal, for Man City to drop points, because if they're taking that and then they want them to beat Brentford, they'll be top. So now, if they beat Brentford, they'll still be behind us, so I'm happy about that. So then we'll move on to Tottenham. It wasn't a good day for Tottenham. It wasn't a good day at all. When you looked at the lineup and you saw that key players in Porro and Udogie were missing, their fullbacks are really key to how they play. It wasn't very good for them at all. Performance-wise, really poor. I mean, Wolves set themselves up really well for the counter-attack. They counter-attacked them to death, and there was chances for Tottenham to get goals, but they seemed like they just couldn't handle the counter-attacks. The first goal obviously wasn't a counter-attack, but from, again, one of their perceived weaknesses at the moment, a set piece. It's actually quite interesting, because Leon said last week that Tottenham finally sorted out the issue with the goalkeeper, with Vicario, getting someone to mark attackers that are causing bother over corners. But what I think it backfired this week, because they ended up having two defenders around him and no attackers went there, which left João Gomez free right in the middle of the 6-yard box, or just outside the 6-yard box, to head it into the top corner. So they've got work to do on that. Someone's got to be more vocal and look at how that works out. But then obviously they equalised. Good goal from Kulusevski, and at that point, with them having most of the ball, you thought, okay, there's only going to be one winner here. Tottenham will play how they normally play and will get a goal, whether it's last minute, but they'll get a goal somehow after Kulusevski's goal, which actually reminded me of a goal from Suarez when he played for Liverpool, when he went down the byline and just before the goalkeeper could close his legs, toe poked it through past him. Really good goal from Kulusevski. But Wolves showed their fighting spirit, and João Gomez got another one. Really, really poor defending from Tottenham, because again, it was a counter-attack, and it was 2-on-5 really, with Gomez trailing behind the 5 defenders, but not one of them looked over their shoulder to see where it was. I mean, when you're running back, yes, it's good to run back as fast as you can, but you also got to be aware of what's around you, and they weren't. And it was Basuma really. Basuma should have been looking where opposition players would be, because if he had done that, he would have cut that goal and they wouldn't have made it 2-1. But good finish, good breakaway, and they could have made it 3 or 4, because they stuffed up 2 more great breakaway goals. But in the end, I guess you could say they deserved it, because Tottenham really did not play very well, which opened the door for the next team I'm going to talk about, Man United, to close the gap on them. They had a hard battle with Luton. Didn't seem that way when they first started the game, because they were 2-0 up in like 7 minutes. Højlund scored after 35 seconds, which is really, really poor on Luton's behalf. And then Højlund breaking a record as well, or joining a record with Man United players scoring in 6 consecutive games. I think Cantona did it, Van Nistelrooy did it. I think Tavares did it like 3 times or 6 times, something like that. And I think there was another striker that did it. I can't remember who the other person was. Probably Rooney. But it was good on his part, because he gets a second goal. And then, from then onwards, to be honest, after about 15-20 minutes, Luton decided not to pit themselves and to go after them. And who would have thought, let's be realistic, that Man United would have less possession than a Luton team. So they've got a few liabilities in that team right now. Casemiro is really starting to look his age. Not sure how he didn't get sent off. You could argue maybe the perceived second yellow didn't quite meet the threshold. I think he was lucky to stay on. And obviously Ten Hag did as well, because Ten Hag subbed him at half time. Similarly with Maguire. Maguire gets hooked at half time for Johnny Evans, who actually comes on and does really well, to his credit. And he stiffens up the defence. But last minute, Luton could have nicked a draw with a good header from a corner from someone who's playing really well this season and has been talked about getting to the England team, which is Ross Barkley. Reinvented himself as defensive midfielder, and he's controlling games there. And to be honest, their midfield was better than Man United in that game, which is a lot. Shows you there's a lot wrong with what's going on in Man United. But it's all about winning games right now for Man United, and they won their 5th game in a row. So, looking back at it, the title race is fully on, with 3 teams fighting tooth and nail for it. But then you look at it, the race for 4th is on now, because Man United have now moved up to 44 points, with Aston Villa on 49 points. That's 5 points between them. So there's a lot to play for, but Tottenham are definitely looking over their shoulders at Man United, because Man United are on an upward climb, and it seems that Tottenham are on a decline. But that's the end of the episode for me this week, guys, because I'm not sure I can speak for much longer on my own. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and continue to share. And as always, keep your comments coming in. Take it easy, guys. See you next week. Peace.